and welcome to Mrs Patnell's lesson Phonics 3 of this week. We are looking at reading and writing words, of course, in this lesson. We're going to go over our flashcards so we don't forget our sounds. We're going to have a little game of buried treasure to decide if our words are real or rubbish. And we're going to have a go at making our own sentences and writing. So that's our biggest focus with today's lesson. Okay, so let's go through our flashcards first of all. U, but mostly ear, air, oi, ow, or, R, O, I, E, A, or the ch. Z. Usually at the ends of words or the ends of syllables when there's two of them. Z. Normally at the beginnings of words. Oops. Ooh. X. J. Sh. K. Yeah. Let's do a couple of phase twos. G. Ah. N. S. K. S. T. D. Right, we'll stop there. Excellent with your flashcards today. I imagine you're knowing nearly all of these straight away now. We've been working on them so well during this period that we've been at home. Okay, so now we're going to look at rewriting some of the digraphs you would have seen just then to make sure we don't forget how to write them as well as read them. So I want you first of all on your whiteboards or your papers, can you write me the digraph sh, sh. Digraph means two letters making one sound. What are those two letters? So get your boards and write them on. Now I'm going to do mine quite big for you guys, remember, but keep your writing smaller now, okay? So the sh digraph should look like this. S and a h, or the letter S and H if we're going to use their names. So pat yourself on the back if you got sh right, Mrs Patnell's favourite sound. Now can we do oi? The digraph, oi, ship ahoy. How do we do oi? Two letters as it's a digraph. What two letters are they going to be? What order are they going to be in? So oi, pause the video if you're still thinking, but oi is an O, then an I making the oi sound, or the letters O and I if we're going to use their names. Right, give yourself a tick if it's right. Now I want you to do the I sound. Now I sound is a trigraph I sound, so you're going to need three letters making one sound for your trigraph I. What are they and in what order do they go on your board? The I sound, three letters you've got to think of. Pause the video if you're still having to think, but the I sound is like this. I, G, H, or the letters I, G, H if we're going to use their names for the I sound. And last of all, can you have a go at doing So it's a digraph, two letters making one sound, and my pen's about to run out, I think. How do I do that? What two letters are they? If you've written it now, then you can check it by looking at this. It is the N and a G, or the letters N and G if we're using their names. So well done if you got that right. Okay, now I am going to give you a word now, and I want you to come up with a sentence for this word, okay? So there's actually two things I want you to do. First of all, I want you to use your phoneme flicky fingers to hear how many sounds are in this word, and then you can write it if you want to. That's absolutely fine if you want to just write the word when you've worked out the phoneme flicky fingers and what sounds you need. But then I want us to put it into our own sentences, and we're going to write these sentences together. So I'm going to have to write the ones that I've come up with here today, but at the end of the lesson I want you to have a go at writing one of your own sentences that you came up with. By all means, write all 3 sentences you came up with if you want to. That'll be a real stretch task for you, but 1 is fine, okay? So 2 jobs we're doing. I'm going to say a word. We're going to see how many sounds we can hear in that word, think how we might spell that word, and then we're going to think of a sentence that includes that word, okay? And it has to make sense. It can't be a nonsense sentence. That has to make sense, that word, within the sentence you come up with. So the first word I'm thinking of is clip. Clip. Has 2 sounds very close together at the beginning. Clip. It's all single sounds. How many can you hear in clip? Clip. 4 sounds. So I know if I was to write clip, I'd have to have 4 sounds. So I'd have my 4 fingers in front of me and think, right, sound number 1, clip, clip. Oh, that's a curly cur. Sound number 2, so I might fold that finger down. I know I've got 3 more sounds to find. Clip, clip. It's an all. Second sound is an all. K-all. I've got 2 more sounds to find because I had 4 sounds in total. Clip, k-all, I, p, I, p. So my last 2 sounds are I and p. You have to excuse me, my pen really is running out here. But there is clip. Okay, I used my phoneme flicky fingers to hear how many sounds were in it, and then I wrote it. So now I want you to think of a sentence that has the word clip in it, and it must make sense. It can't be a nonsense sentence. So a clip could be something you put in your hair, maybe. Okay, so your sentence could be something about a clip in your hair. It's probably the one that makes the most sense to us, to be honest, is that kind of clip. You might use a paper clip on your paper, if you've ever heard of a paper clip. Sometimes you can use the word clip if you're cutting something. So sometimes people clip the wings of a bird to stop it flying away. But I think probably the most sensible one for us is to do the hair. So I think I'm going to come up with myself. Penny put a clip in her long hair. Penny put a clip in her long hair. It makes sense because a clip goes in your hair, and I haven't just said hair, I've said long hair, so I've made it a more interesting sentence. So Penny put a clip in her long hair. If I wanted to write that, I'm going to have to use phoneme flicky fingers, I'm going to have to use finger spaces, I'm going to have to use capital letters, and full stops because it's a statement, not a question or an exclamation. So Penny. Now Penny's a name, and names don't always go by phonics rules. So the end of Penny is being a bit tricky. So don't worry if you put a name in yours, just do your best with thinking about how you might spell it, okay? So Penny has a capital P, and hopefully you can see this okay on your screens. If not, you might have to zoom in on whatever device you're watching it on. But Penny is a capital P, so no cursive flicks on a capital letter. So P, 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 E, E. So I've got P, N, and a knee, penny. My E sound is not made in the usual way with an E and an E, because it's on the end of a word, and it will do this more as you move into year 1. You will notice more words that do this. It has a y on the end, making an E sound. So being a bit tricky, like I say, names don't always go by phonetic rules. So Penny put a clip in her long hair. So put is one of our common exception words, and it sort of blends like, or one of your keywords even, it blends a bit like put. Okay, so that's the tricky bit about put. It looks like put. So I'm going to go t, and then I know I've spelt put right. Penny put a, we all know how to do the common exception word a, there it is. Clip, we just wrote clip, we knew there were 4 sounds in clip. It had a curly cut, very close to an oo, and then I, p, that dangling its tail in the water is kind of entering into my clip there. Penny put a clip in, nice and easy, 2 sounds, it, in her. Her is one of our common exception words, but actually it's the one that doesn't really have anything too tricky in it at all. You just got to decide which you need to use. So and it's the which is this one. Okay, so Penny put, and I always go back and reread so I know I haven't missed any words out. Penny put a clip in her long hair. Long. Three sounds I know I've got to write. Sound number 1. Ooh. The digraph. In her long hair. Air. 2 sounds. One of them is a trigraph. Tall. And then the air trigraph is an a, it, and r. If we're using the letter names, A, I, R. So we've got hair. Penny put a clip in her long hair. I need to punctuate the end of my sentence. It needs a full stop. Don't do a big football on the page. You're going to waste your arm muscles and be worn out by the end of it. Just a dot so that it can be seen. You want it to be seen. Otherwise someone will think you haven't known how to punctuate your sentence. But it mustn't be a big coloured-in football. Okay? So Penny put a clip in her long hair. Fantastic. Your next word is splat. 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 I nearly got my 2 there mixed up as one. They're so close together. Splat. 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 5 sounds in splat. Okay, so when I come to write it, I know I need 5 sounds. I think I might just tweak this up a bit so we can write our next sentence. So let's fold this over here so we can attempt to write our next sentence on the board. Now, can you think of a sentence with the word splat in it? Splat means like when something hits the ground and kind of goes whoo, and it just smashes everywhere like this and makes a big mess. So how could you have splat in a sentence? Have a think. Tell your adult now a sentence with the word splat in. You can pause the video if you don't mind talking to you while you're thinking. Splat. Okay, now I'm going to go with the little egg went splat on the road. The little egg, so not just the egg, I'm being a bit more interesting to let you know it's the little egg. The little egg went splat on the road. Okay, so I'm going to write that sentence. There's a lot of words in this sentence. In fact, let's count the words. The little egg went splat on the road. There are 8 words in this sentence, so I know I'm going to need 8 words at the end. So I don't want to miss any words out, it won't make sense. So the is one of our common exception words. I need what at the beginning of my sentence? A capital letter. So I'm going to have a capital T. Hope you can see that under the tree. Okay, capital T. And then F is the. So I've done my tricky word, the. The little. Little is another of our common exception words. Now remember with little, all of the sounds are helping you apart from that F on the end that's just having a holiday. So little, what sounds can we hear? O, I, T, T. And then O, and then there's just an E on the end, it's doing nothing, okay? The little egg, now egg, seems like it should just be E and one G. It's a little bit tricky, egg. It squeezes another G in there. But we don't say egg G, do we? We never say I'll have a boiled egg G. It just makes the one G sound, but it has 2 letters. Okay? So the little egg went. Now I know how to do went, nice single sounds. W, E, N, T. W, E, N, T. With the N and T really close together at the end. 4 sounds I need. W, E, N, T. The little egg went splat. 5 sounds we knew we had to find in splat. Sounds a bit like a B, like splat, splat, but it's splat, splat, splat. Have we got 5 sounds? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, we've done a splat. The little egg went splat on the road. On, off, We've already wrote the before up here, but don't use a capital letter again. It's not the beginning of the sentence anymore. It's in the middle of the sentence. The little egg went splat on the road. How many sounds? R-O-D. 3 sounds. A digraph in the middle. R-O. Remember O? O on an A. R-O-D. And I need a full stop at the end. Not a big football, remember. Just enough to be seen. The little egg went splat on the road. Excellent. Another sentence written. Last one now. Crack. Your word is crack. What centre? Well, let's hear how many sounds we can hear in crack first. 2 sounds close together at the beginning. Crack. K, r, a, k. 4 sounds in crack. So remember that when we come to write it in our sentence. 4 sounds we're looking for. Remember the k sound is at the end of crack, so it might be made as a digraph. Crack. Can you pause the video now and think of a sentence that has crack in it? Your own sentence. Things that go crack. What could you talk about? I'm going to go with the cup had a big crack in it. So not just a crack, but a big crack. So you get an idea of some more details there. The cup had a big crack in it. Let's count how many words that is. The cup had a big crack in it. 8 words again in my sentence. I know I need 8 words at the end, okay? So, the cup. It's the beginning of my sentence, so I want a capital T on my the again. Remember, the is T. Ha. Eh. The cup. Nice and easy. 3 sounds. K, up. K, up. The cup had nice and easy, and 3 sounds again. The cup had a, we all know a, big, 3 sounds, but big, big, crack. Now we decided that had 4 sounds, didn't we? So we need to find 4 sounds for crack. And then because the k sound is on the end, it has to be the 2 letters making the k sound. Crack. The cup had a big crack in it. I'm going to squeeze that in at the bottom. I, n, and then it, full stop, just big enough to see. And then we've got our capital letter, full stop, and beautiful finger spaces. And we've used our phoneme flicky fingers to help us to spell those words. So writing sentences, you can all do this. You're doing fantastically well now, so you should be able to have a good go at writing your own sentence at the end of this video. So one of the ones you made up for either clip, splat or crack, have a go at writing your own sentence. Think how many words you've got to include in your own sentence and make sure that you don't miss any out. Let's just check we had 8 words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, we remembered them all. We didn't leave any out, so we know it's going to make sense and nothing is going to be missing in our sentence, okay? All words are important, even the smallest of words. Right, so that's your task for the end of this. We are going to have a go at reading a sentence now, so I'm going to whiz this around here. And I'm going to pop that under there, and hopefully you can see my sentence. Actually, I'm tempted to bring it a little nearer to you. So let's bring it over so we can see. I've got 2 sentences. We're going to start with this one here, okay? So I'll bring it over to the camera. Let's hope you can see it all there. Pause the screen so you can read it yourself. A bit in the way there. Okay, because I'd like you to read it yourself. Remember, blend the words in your head if you can, and then read them out as a whole word rather than having to blend every word now, because you can do this. But now we're going to read them together. So we have got capital I, but it's not the word I. Sometimes people are tempted to say I, but look, there's another letter with it. A T. So we've got it. It is fun. It is fun to, one of our common exception words, Camp. Camp. It is fun to camp. Can you see that one? In a tent. Tent. And a full stop. It is fun to camp in a tent. It is fun to camp in a tent, and actually mine is up as well in the garden at the moment, so I think I'm going to sleep in it tonight. And then I'm going to flick to this one here. So let's unwind it so we can see the whole sentence. There we are. So pause the screen when you've got it all on there so you can have a go at reading it by yourself. Okay, remember, blend in your head and then say the whole word out loud if you can. If you find that particularly tricky, then do still go with blending it, okay, because that's how we've learned to read. So we have the capital I. There's no letters after it, so it is just the word I. I can, ear, hear. I can hear. Two close together sounds at the beginning here. Twigs, twigs, twigs. Now, 2-syllable word here, but don't be put off. Snap, snapping, snapping. I can hear twigs snapping in the wind. Full stop. I can hear twigs snapping in the wind. Excellent reading of those sentences today. Now, I feel as though we've done quite a bit of work this lesson, so I think I'm going to save our buried treasure for tomorrow's lesson. So we will do that then, and that will be our last one for the week then, because I'm leaving you Fridays to consolidate all the stuff you've learned and to have a go at writing some more sentences yourself, or to look for your own flashcards or your own common exception words and areas that you might have struggled on a bit this week. And I will see you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye.